I am Dina Wade Ardley. I am the Director in the Office of Educational Equity. And if you have received any of our mailings, we do some wonderful things here in Bloomington Public Schools. Fran Carr is one of our very important coordinators in our program, and she put together the program this evening with the help of the liaisons and some of the other advocates. So let's give her a round of applause. She also does many other programs, and I hope that you're involved in some of the programs that she has going on around our district. I want to also introduce some of other people. Katie Rigger, would you please stand up? Katie is with our American Indian program. Hung Fong is with our Asian program. They're in the cafeteria. Bazara Gafara is also one of our liaisons, and Donna Wilson is not here. And we have quite a few. So if you ever have an opportunity to stop by, we have two offices. One at DSS, which is at Olson Middle School. Stop by and say hello to our staff. Or at ESC, which is part of Oak Grove Middle School. Please stop by and say hello. We have four wonderful, wonderful storytellers. And in many different cultures, we don't write things down always. We pass things along, pass our culture along by telling stories. And we get things out of the stories that are told that we can pass along. Mrs. Carr is going to be our MC, and she's a wonderful MC for tonight. So we're going to turn this program over to her, and we are going to have a wonderful time. Thank each and every one of you for giving of your Friday night. We applaud you.
As Dina said, we have a great program for you tonight. We have storytellers, an African-American storyteller, a Latino, Asian American, and American Indian, and they are all excellent. First on our program tonight is Claudia Delgado Placido, and she is from the Mexican consulate in St. Paul.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you, first of all, Fran and the Bloomington Public Schools for the invitation. And again, my name is Claudia Delgado, and I work for the Consulate of Mexico here in St. Paul. A brief story of us. We just opened up a year and a half ago. We are a brand new office here in the state, and many of the activities that we do on the consulate is we try to share our culture. We don't do just passports and consular IDs to Mexican nationals. We do so much. We have health programs, educational programs, sports programs, and of course, cultural programs. So I prepared a little something, and I'm gonna read part of it, and it's gonna be in both English and Spanish, and I really hope you like it. This is the legend of two of the major volcanoes in Mexico City. Their names are Popocatépetl and Iztaccíhuatl. And throughout the story, I'll be explaining to you what those names are. And well, the legend about Iztaccíhuatl and Popocatépetl comes from the ancient Nahuas. As it comes from an oral tradition, there are many versions of the same story. There are also poems and songs telling this beautiful story. La leyenda acerca del Iztaccíhuatl y del Popocatépetl es tan vieja como la cultura náhuatl. Tal y como lo dicta la tradición, hay muchas versiones de la misma historia. De la misma manera hay también poemas y cantos que cuentan esta bella historia. Many years before Cortés went to Mexico, the Aztecs lived in Tenochtitlan, which is today known as Mexico City. The chief of the Aztecs was a famous emperor who was loved by all the Indians. The emperor and his wife, the empress, were very worried because they had no children. One day, the empress said to the emperor that she was going to give birth to a child. A baby girl was born, and she was as beautiful as her mother. They called her Iztaccíhuatl, which in Nahuatl means white lady. Años antes de que Cortés llegara a México, los aztecas vivían en Tenochtitlan, lo que es hoy la Ciudad de México. El jefe de los aztecas era un famoso emperador, muy querido también por todos los indios. El emperador y su esposa, la emperatriz, estaban muy preocupados y muy tristes porque no habían tenido un bebé, pero un día la emperatriz le dijo a su esposo que iban a tener un bebé. Y ella dio a luz a una hermosa criatura que le pusieron Iztaccíhuatl, que en náhuatl significa mujer blanca. All the Indians loved Iztaccíhuatl, and her parents prepared her to be the empress of the Aztecs. When she grew up, she fell in love with the loving capital of the tribe, called Popocatépetl. Todos los indios amaban a Iztaccíhuatl y sus padres la preparaban para que ella fuese la futura emperatriz de los aztecas. Los años pasaron y el amor llegó a ella en la forma del capitán de la tribu, un hombre hermoso de nombre Popocatépetl. One day, a war broke out, and the warriors had to go south to fight the enemy. The emperor told Popocatépetl that he had to bring the head of the enemy chief back from the war, so he could marry his daughter. Un día, la guerra comenzó y todos los guerreros tuvieron que viajar al sur a pelear contra el enemigo. El emperador le dijo a Popocatépetl que tenía que traer consigo la cabeza del jefe de la tribu enemiga, y esa era la condición para que él pudiera casarse con su hija. After several months of combat, a warrior who hated Popocatépetl sent a false message to the emperor. The message said that his army had won the war, but that Popocatépetl had died in the battle. The emperor was very sad when he heard the news. But when Iztaccíhuatl heard the news, she could not stop crying. She refused to go out, she refused to eat, and a few days later, she became ill and died of sadness. Tras varios meses de combate, un guerrero que odiaba a Popocatépetl envió un mensaje falso al emperador. Este mensaje decía que la tribu había ganado la guerra, pero que Popocatépetl había muerto en la batalla. El emperador se puso muy triste con la noticia, pero cuando Iztaccíhuatl la escuchó, no pudo dejar de llorar. Dejó de salir, dejó de comer y con el tiempo murió de tristeza. When the emperor was preparing Iztaccíhuatl's funeral, Popocatépetl and his warriors arrived victorious from war. The emperor was taken aback when he saw Popocatépetl, and he told him that the other warriors had announced his death. Then he told him that Iztaccíhuatl had died. Cuando el emperador estaba con los preparativos para el funeral de su amada hija, Popocatépetl y sus guerreros regresaban victoriosos de la guerra. El emperador se impresionó fuertemente al verlo y le dijo que otros guerreros habían anunciado su muerte. Y así le dijo que Iztaccíhuatl también había muerto. Popocatépetl was very sad. He took Iztaccíhuatl's body and left the town. He walked a long way until he arrived at some mountains where he ordered his warriors to build a funeral table with flowers, and he put Iztaccíhuatl lying on top. Then he kneeled down to watch over Iztaccíhuatl and died of sadness too. Popocatépetl no podía con la tristeza. Fue cuando tomó el cuerpo sin vida de Iztaccíhuatl y dejó el pueblo. Caminó un largo trecho hasta que llegó a unas montañas donde ordenó a sus guerreros que construyeran una mesa llena de flores y arriba de ella colocó a Iztaccíhuatl. Después se colocó de rodillas vigilante, cuidando el cuerpo de su amada, y con el tiempo también murió. The gods were touched by Popocatépetl sacrifice and turned the tables and the bodies into a great volcano. The biggest volcano is Popocatépetl, which in Nahuatl means smoking mountain. To this day, we see the warrior and princess. At times, there are great rumblings and smoke from within Popocatépetl. It is the prince crying for his princess Iztaccíhuatl. Los dioses, conmovidos ante el sacrificio de Popocatépetl, convirtieron sus cuerpos sin vida en enormes y majestuosos volcanes. El volcán más grande es Popocatépetl, que en náhuatl significa montaña que humea. Hoy en día, aún podemos ver a la pareja. En ocasiones se escuchan fuertes retumbos y oleadas de humo que salen del Popocatépetl. Es el guerrero que a la fecha sigue llorando a la princesa Popocatépetl. And if you guys don't believe me, what I have here and I can pass around for you to see, this is an actual picture of how the volcanoes looked today and how the figures of Iztaccíhuatl and Popocatépetl are also lying. And I have copies for you to see. This is a true story, this is a legend as well, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. That was wonderful. Well, our next performer is Tu Zhejiang, and I have a brief introduction about him. Tu was born in Laos in 1973. He came to America as a refugee of war after spending 4 years in a refugee camp in Thailand. He is the first Hmong American comedian, rap artist, and storyteller. To his fans, he's called the Hmong version of Chris Rock, Jim Carrey, and Snoop Dogg, all all stir-fried into one. Please welcome Tu Jerjong.
Supersize everything. What do I mean? For you guys, if it's not big enough, you supersize it. Here you have the Super Bowl. You have Super Mario, Super Mario Brothers, Super Nintendo, lots of super duper things. What's my point? In the Hmong culture, you know we don't have anything too super. So today I have declared to be Super Hmong Man Day. Da-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na. Okay. There was some good food today, huh? Yeah, let's give those people a round of applause. Yeah, all right. Welcome to the best show on a Friday night. My name is Tu Jerjong. Now everyone repeat after me. Say nya, 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 everyone. I think I just broke something. Now say Jean. Say non. Jean. Everyone go like this with your fingers. Yes, even the cool people. And I want you to turn to the people around you and say it with an attitude like this. Nyo, Jean. In the Hmong language, Nyo, Jean. It means Warsaw. Now, time to get a new microphone at this school, huh? Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah. Oh, wow, he's pretty loud. He's not like most Asians, huh? Now, I was born in the country of Laos, and when I was a young boy, I came to this country as a refugee of the war. I was 6 years old, and people asked me a lot, "Dude, are you Chinese? No. Are you Japanese? No. What are you? I'm Hmong." They would say, what is Hmong? Because Chinese are from China, Vietnamese are from Vietnam. Hmong people are from Hmong land. We don't have a country, right? So we're actually, by nationality, the Hmong people are from Laos, so they call us Laotians. But we're not really Laotians. I tell them we're the hillbillies of Asia. Because we live in the high mountains. And no, we don't say, yeah, oh. But Hmong people do say, near same thing, huh? Excuse me, I gotta get a little air up in here. It's getting hot in here. You don't like my shirt? I came to this country when I was 6 years old. I have 6 brothers, and I have 4 sisters. Every time I see the old lady, woo, you're poor, mama. Now listen, so you understand, boys and girls, my older sister, she was married when we lived in Laos, so she came with her husband's family 4 years before the rest of us did. So she had to fill out lots of paperwork, so we get to come and live here in America too. And boy, in our country, it was poor. We didn't have running water, we didn't have electricity. In Laos, it was a very poor country. And when we came to America, I'll never forget the first day when we arrived in America. We came out of the airport, the airplane out of the airport. Oh, all of a sudden, we came up. It was exciting, no! We were just like the new refugee family. Some of you may have seen on the Discovery Channel, right? There were red lights, green lights, yellow lights, woo! Fast cars, tall buildings, everything was so exciting and new. But I said to my mom, what do you think can become what that already? Hey, Mom and Dad, how come in America there's so many blonde-haired, blue-eyed monsters everywhere? She just said, don't go too close. Now, I remember we came out of the airport, they put us in these little cars, they're gonna take us to the place where our family was gonna stay for a while. Now, folks, in our country, it's hot, it's sticky. If kids behave themselves, Mom and Dad will take you to the market, they'll buy you a nice, cool, generic ice cream. If they can't afford ice cream, they will give kids a cup of ice. And all the kids love to chew on ice because you can take it outside and brag, I have eyes, you don't have eyes. We love to chew on ice. But guess what? When we came to America, we came straight to Minnesota. In the winter. And as soon as that car door opened up, I was so guys call it? No. Oh, she shot home. Hey, not bad. We didn't know any better. We're 80 store like this candy. Oh. Dirt there. My sister, she saw us eating snow. She yelled at us. She said, "No, you cannot eat that stuff. Come inside right now." We followed her inside the house. She was going to teach us some new things about American culture. That baby loves my story, huh? So she was gonna tell us some things about American culture. She said, "Everyone come in here. You see American house. Oh, wow." She said, "You see this? In America, we call this thing sofa." Everyone try that now. No, not like that. Like this. Sofa. Very good. You know you can sit down on the sofa. You can? Oh, yeah. We never said anything so soft before. She said, "You guys come over here. You see this? In America, we call this TV." Everyone say, TV. Very good. You turn it on like this. She said, "You turn it off." She said, "You come here." Now, when you are hungry, she explained, you don't have to hunt for your food and cook it around the fire every day. You can open this door and get some food. This thing where we keep food, we call it, this is my favorite word at the time, we call it refrigerator. Everyone say that without spitting at the people around you, please. Refrigerator. She said, "Very good. You open it like this. You grab some food. When you're done, you have to close it quick." So, my turn. Open, close, open, close, open, close. We were having so much fun playing with all these neat new things in America that we had never seen before. My brother and I, we were about this big at the time. Ooh, I remember we had to go, we had to go pee. I had to go pee, my brother had to go pee. What do? We did what we always did in the country where we came from. He just went outside, right? Don't ask me why, but I'll still tell you. Ever since we were little, my mother always said, "Boys, if you have to pee, you go outside and pee by the tree. Girls, they go into the woods." So we remember ever since we were this big, pee by the tree is where you pee. One night we went outside, we saw the first tree where our neighbors there, we just about to go and pee by the tree. My sister saw what we were about to do. She said, "No! You cannot pee outside anymore. It's America." And that was her explanation for everything. She just said, "It's America." And she said to us in the Hmong language, "Lokomateri Hmong Georgie," which means, "Come with me. I take you guys to the special peeing place." Oh, we got excited. We followed her upstairs to the bathroom. She opens the door to the bathroom. She said, Hmong Georgie," which means this is the special peeing room. We looked into the peeing room. Where's the tree, huh? She said, "No, you don't need tree to pee, you pee in here." And folks, she pointed to the thing. In our country, we play outside barefoot all the time. Mom and Dad always yell at the kids, if you have wash your feet before you go to bed, right? So we remember ever since we were little, you gotta wash your feet before you go to bed. First time I saw the thing, you call it the toilet, I was thinking, wow, American people have a special machine made just for washing feet. You don't even use your hands, you stick your feet in the toilet, you just She said, "No, that's where you pee." I said, "Are you sure?" She said, "Yes." Okay, so we pee. My brother and I were very short at that time, so we had to tiptoe pee too. After we tiptoe pee, we ran downstairs. She said, "No, you cannot just pee and go. You have to flush the toilet." Now think about that. Boys and girls, if you come from a country where you don't have toilets, do you think you would have a word for flushing the toilet? No. So when she said flush the toilet in the Hmong language, it meant you have to drain all of the pee away. Somehow. What do you want us to do? Grab something, scoop out the pee and take it outside? We should just pee by the tree. What's the point? We don't know how it works. She said, "Come in, I show you. It's very easy. It's America." And she says, "Come in. Now count to 3. In Hmong, it's E. Oh, big. Everybody count, please. E. Wait. She had an idea. She said, "You come closer so you see better." Now she grabs a few sheets of toilet paper. Count to 3 and watch what happens. E. Oh, babe. She puts her finger our little switch, we heard a noise. It starts to get louder. She yells, "Step back or the toilet will suck you in!" And I remember we heard a loud noise, and my brother and I looked inside the toilet. She was right. Everything disappeared into a little hole about this big. You be careful next time you pee, you stand too close, you flush your toilet. You go bye-bye. And I was about probably this big, my brother a little bit bigger, and we believed her. For 2 weeks, we use the bathroom after that. Next time you go to the bathroom, you be careful too. But we had a lot of fun growing up here. Boy, I gotta tell you, I know that I usually do a longer show, but folks are gonna have a short amount of time, so I brought a show and tell to illustrate that boys and girls, even though we are different, we are alike in a lot of ways. When we think about how different we are, let's celebrate it. Because if everybody here looking like, talking like, walking like, it'd be kind of boring. But I mean, in your country, if during Christmas, or during the holidays, or what have you, when you get presents, you have video games and you play. Well, the kids in my country, they don't have video games. The little boys take a stick, tie it to a long string, right? And they call it top spinning. I know. Some of the parents recognize this sound. Well, you take a little dulu, usually made out of wood. You take the string, and it's our version of bowling and top spinning. You wrap the string really tight around the dulu, and outside you get teams. Some boys are on this team, some boys are that team. And you take the dulu in your hand like this, and you it spins. And some of you have this, I think in Mexico too, they have that. They have the thing where you get. So it's hard, and you can keep kids busy for a long time. Today, what's sad is I see kids play video games, $30, $40 video games after an hour. Mom, this is too boring, I want a new one. So think about it, all right? Next time your kids ask you for something, give them a long stick and a string and say, go play with something. In your culture, you have stories. What's going on? You guys still having fun? You guys still having fun? Yeah! All right. Don't worry, I saved the grand finale for today, all right? Now, my next show will tell you guys that story books. You open up, tell you stories, right? Most people have found out. Can you guys say that? Found out is a story clump. This is how we tell our stories through stitching needle and thread. So you can put sew into a pillowcase so little kids can sleep by the stories at night. Like you guys, we have short stories.
Okay, I gotta sit by him.
And like you guys, can I have you come help me up here, little girl? What's your name? Vaughn, come on up, Vaughn. Like Vaughn will help you demonstrate. Like you guys, Hmong people have long stories too. Here, just hold it right over the edge here, Vaughn, so they can see it. And this side is here, a story of Hmong people running away from our homes. This is the river that thousands of Hmong people had to escape to get to freedom. Along the way, thousands died. And this is also a true story of the Vietnamese, the Cambodian, Laotian, and other groups too. And the story of refugees from Ethiopia, or Somalia, or from the Middle East, or the stories of people who speak Spanish who had to cross borders in dangerous ways to get to America. It is the story of all of us as Americans. And people say, too, why did you come from the hot tropical jungles of Laos all the way to Minnesota? I tell them ice fishing brought us here. You guys have been a great crowd. Before I go, I'd like to wrap things up with this. Let me see if we can put this together because this really added a lot to it. Hello, okay. Oh, we just need a little bit of tape. All right, here we go. Now, I'm a rap artist. People say, too, why you rap? Well, I think rap is a generational, it bridges the generations because adults speak like this. Hello there, is it Bob? Nice to meet you, Bob. Hey, where are you from? I'm the principal of North High School. We should get together. Let me give you my card. Have your people call my people. We'll do lunch. Okay. Oh, yeah. You betcha. Young people I work with, they speak a different language. It goes like this. Yo, what's up, dawg?
They don't say my colleagues, co-workers, do they? They say my homies, my G, and my crew. They don't say it's time to go. They say, yo, we got to bounce, bro. Why you be tripping? Ain't no thing but a chicken wine. And traditionally, the girls are very shy. They go like this. Today they do this. You better recognize boyfriend. Don't talk to me. Talk to the hand. And this Hmong mother said, "Tutor, I don't understand my son." I said, "What's wrong?" "I take my son to the doctor. The doctor say his leg now broken. He's a healthy boy, but I don't understand why he walk like this all the time." So that's why I rap. Now, when I rap, I gotta pause and breathe and catch my breath. I point to you, and there's different ways we tell stories for the soul, right? So I'm gonna share a storytelling way with you. It's through rap, right? So I need your help. When I point to you, I catch my breath, you sing your part. And your part goes, go Hmong boy, go Hmong boy, go. Go Hmong boy, go Hmong boy, go. You say that twice, and then you say, bite that spicy egg, grow Hmong boy. You know egg rolls, all right? Yeah, that's my favorite food. We had egg rolls today. Someday you write your own song, you can write anything. Have some pepperoni pizza, live in la vida loca, whatever, okay? So let's practice. Please repeat after me. Say, go Hmong boy, go Hmong boy, go. Go Hmong boy, go Hmong boy, go. Bite that spicy egg, grow Hmong boy. Everyone a little louder, please. Bite that spicy egg, grow Hmong boy. All right, one more thing I want you to add. If you are a student, please sit up straight in your seats. Hands down by your sides, relax your shoulders. When you sing, you gotta do this. Go Hmong boy, go Hmong boy, go. Go Hmong boy, go Hmong boy, go. Bite that spicy egg, grow Hmong boy. Good. If you are a parent or if you are an adult, you can't do that. You parents and adults have to do this. Go Hmong boy, go Hmong boy, go. Go Hmong boy, go Hmong boy, go. Bite that spicy egg, grow Hmong boy. Does everybody know your parts? That's you too, friend, all right? Here we go. If you guys are ready, I'm gonna put my rapping hat on, and then we can get jiggy with it. Yo, what's up, what's up? As you can see, I'm Asian with a funny looking hat. When I'm about to say, might sound like slack, but just lend me your ears and hear me out. I come to tell you what I'm all about. Yes, my name is too, and I come to say I'm the refugee, talented in many ways. Go Hmong boy, go Hmong boy, go. Go Hmong boy, go Hmong boy, go. Bite that spice. It's gonna be a long night. I'm gonna give you another chance, all right? I see a few people like, we're too cool to do the Hmong boy dance. All right, have a little fun, come on now. You got some free food tonight, so have a little fun. All right, here we go. Yo, well, you might think it's weird to see that I'm Asian. I'm busting some rhymes on such an occasion. Well, let me tell you how I came to be. I was born in Laos in 1973. And in my culture, we sing and we dance. But I'ma start rapping and take my chance. And even though this is my first rap, you don't have to like it. You don't have to clap. To those you listening, it might be cool to see this Hmong boy kick it like Ja Rule. Go Hmong boy, go Hmong boy, go. Go Hmong boy, go Hmong boy, go. Bite that spicy. I'm gonna give you one more chance. This time, if I don't see any moving in your section, I'm gonna come right up the aisle and find out which lane community you live in. All right, here we go. Shh, yo. I fled my country at the age of 4, all because of the Vietnam War. My family was running from place to place, running from the guns at a very fast pace. My people was dying here and there, dead women and children everywhere. When I think about these tragedies, thank goodness for my life and my families. And now that I live in the US of A, I'm proud to be and I'm glad to say, but sometimes I face resentment from others and feel only the Hmong are my sisters and my brothers. Wherever I go, people give me the eyes. They call me the Oriental guy. got with my round face and my dark hair, it still doesn't give them the right to stare. Deep down inside, hey, I'm just like you, with emotional feelings and affection too. Hey, everybody knows what's right or wrong. Can't we all just learn to get along? Go, my boy. Yo, I want to say thanks to those who accept me for who I am and not for who I should be. I want to say those beautiful smiles, make it worth your time, I'll make it worth your while. Until then, peace and universal love, soaring through the sky like a beautiful dove. Yo, peace. Thank you, Fran, for inviting me. And before you guys go, you can say hi to me on my website, www.gomongboy.com, and say she, G, dua. Say she, G, dua. In the Hmong language, that means I'll check y'all later. But if you're in a little town, to you it means, y'all come back now, you hear? Peace out. My name is Tujer Sean. Have a great evening.
Go, Hmong boy, go. Thank you, that was wonderful. We have our next performer, Colin Weesaw, who is an American Indian. And I just want to mention to you that we also have American Indian coordinator, Heidi Hecker, who works in the same office as Katie and I. So if ever you have some information or you need something about the American Indian community, please feel free to contact her, okay? But I want to introduce Colin, and I want to say wonderful things about him. Colin put me and my colleagues through our paces out at Wilder a few years ago. But I'm just going to read, so you'll bear with me. Colin's a community relations coordinator, a keynote speaker, a Migizi trainer. He's also a Native American storyteller, motivational speaker, and team building facilitator. He's also a certified fire walking instructor. Whoa. And he is recognized throughout the community and throughout the United States as an outstanding speaker. And he is going to do something wonderful for you tonight. So let's welcome Colin.
Hey, how y'all doing? Let's get that little bump. Let me see that. Let's see what Tujer is seeing up there. Go on, do it. What do you do? My name is Colin Weiss, or my native name is Mugwai, which means bear man. I was born and raised in the city of Chicago. Moved up here about 15, 16 years ago. I've been telling stories for probably 20, 25 years now. I learned stories from my father, and I believe from my heart that stories are something that everybody needs to have in their life. Today's world, we let that TV tell our stories. We don't get them from our parents anymore, and we're losing so much. So the stories I tell, I like to tell stories that carry values of life. And I like to tell them where you can understand them. Want to see what she's doing? So today, I want to thank Fran and her crew for inviting me and bringing me out here again. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're out here to listen to stories about the food for the soul, food for the heart. So I'd like to tell one or two, and then I'll be gone out of your life, and till the next time we meet, okay? All right? Is that okay? Okay, real fast, right? Get them out of here, right? All right. Okay, here we go. So anyways, a long time ago, in our language, I am Native American, Potawatomi on my father's side, Mohawk on my mother's side. Both of them have gone on to the other world now, but they left me with a lot of values. My father was the one who taught me about telling stories, and my mother taught me about compassion to tell the stories that I tell. A long time ago, there was this girl. Since we're speaking of diversity, I'd like to tell you the story about this beautiful girl. Whew. Let me tell you, this girl was so beautiful. She was just hot, you know. Everybody loved her. All the men wanted her. She didn't want anybody. She was so good looking. One day, her and her sister got up, and they went down by the water, down by the river. And when they got down there were all these frogs singing and talking like they do. That pretty girl scooped up one of those frogs. She looked at it and she started laughing about it. She said, look at him, look at him, look at him, look at him. He said, look at him. He is so ugly. Just look at how ugly. Oh my God, you're so ugly. You're so ugly. Not even your own kind would want to marry you. She cracked up some more, laughed really hard, called it all kinds of names, and then threw that frog in the water. That day was just like any other day. That night, the people ate, they sang, they danced, and then they went to sleep in their lodges. The next morning, before the sun got up, that pretty girl had a funny feeling inside her stomach, like somebody was calling her outside the lodge. So she quickly got dressed, and when she stepped outside the lodge, there stood this tall, dark, handsome man, really good-looking guy. And when he looked at her, he spoke in this real, rich, deep, sexy voice, you know. He said something like this. Hold on, wait. He said, wait. Well, anyways, he said, I have come to take you and make you my wife. She said, yes, even though his clothes were different, they were green. They were green and they had spots on, but he was so good looking. He was such a hunk. She fell in love immediately. He said, I have come to take you to my people to show you my village. She said, okay. With that, they took off. They went down by the water. And when they got down by the water, they just kept right on going until they disappeared. The next morning, when the people finally got up, they looked around. They couldn't find that pretty girl they loved so much. One of the young men found her trail and followed it down to the water. When he got down there, he seen their path went in the water. So he started calling her name this way and that way, looking all over for her really hard. Couldn't find her at all. He went back to the village and he told the people that he had found their trail. And they all rushed down to the water to see if they could find her. They were down there many hours combing that shoreline up this way and that way, calling her name all over the place. And after many hours of looking for her, they started to think that this pretty girl they loved so much had died, had drowned. So they started to cut their hair and weep and mourn for the loss of this girl that they loved so much. They went back to the village crying and weeping for her loss. And when they went back up there, when they finally got up there, that same young man started to think, maybe she's still out there. Maybe we didn't look hard enough. And he took off running back down to the water. When he got down there, he really called her name really hard this way and that way, looking all over that water for anything of hers that might be out there. Calling her name, and all of a sudden his eyes came to this island. There on this island sat all these frogs, and there sat that pretty girl with the frogs. So he dove in the water to get her. When he went in the water, a few frogs went in. The closer he got, the more frogs went in that water. When he was almost to that island, the rest of the frogs jumped in the water, and bang, that pretty girl followed him. He swam back to shore, and he ran back to the village, and he told the people what he had seen. And they all rushed down to the water to see if he was telling the truth. And when the people got down there, they looked out on that island, and sure enough, there sat all those frogs once again, and there sat that pretty girl. The leader told a couple of his men to go in the water and get her. When they went in, it was just like the first time. Few frogs went in. The closer they got, the more frogs went in the water. When they were almost to that island, the rest of the frogs jumped in the water, and boom, that pretty girl followed them one more time. They swam back to shore. And as they got back to shore, that pretty girl's sister started to talk and tell the story of how that pretty girl picked that frog up, called it names, made fun of it, and ridiculed it, and threw it in the water. Well, right away, the leader knew what to do. He made this offering up, this gift, this package, and he set it out on the water. When he set it out on the water, he called out to the Frog Nation. He called out to him, he said, please release the girl. Let her come home. Let her come back to us. She's young, she's foolish, she didn't know what she was saying. She didn't know what she was doing. Let her come home. Nothing happened. He made up 3 more offerings that day, and each time he sent them out, he called out to the Frog Nation. Nothing happened. And finally, at the end of the day, he pulled the people together again. He said, what we're going to do is we're going to dig a drain. We'll drain the lake. When we drain the lake, the water will leave the lake, and then we'll see the girl, we'll walk out and get her, be the end of the story. So all the people got together and they started to dig up this drain. And as they started to dig it up, all the frogs jumped up on the shore, wanting to stop them. They picked up every one of those frogs, they apologized to it. They apologized to it, and they placed it back in the water so kindly not to hurt it. When they were almost done with the drain, the leader of the frog called his son to his side. He said, son, you have to take your wife back to her people. He said, there are too many. They are too strong. They're too powerful. They're going to finish that drain. When they do, the water will leave this lake, and then we're all going to die. Let her go home. With sorrow in their hearts, they swam for the last time together. When they got close to shore, the people seen the girl in the water. They jumped in, grabbed her up, and stood her right up on that shore. Right next to her jumped that little frog. They picked that frog up and they apologized to it. So kindly, they placed that one frog back in the water, real careful not to hurt it. The girl stood there with slime covered from her head to her toes, reeking and stinking, this awful smell. When they went to talk to her, they found out she could only talk frog. So they cleaned her up and washed her down and took her back to the village. Back at the village, they started to teach her the language of the people once again. And when she could finally speak their language, she started to tell the story of how she picked that frog up, called it names, ridiculed it, made fun of it, and threw it in the water. And how that same frog became to be her lover, her husband, somebody she would miss forever. She said, when you're down by the water, you have to be careful of what you say, for now the Frog Nation knows our language. When you're down by the water and you hear them talking, she said, you have to listen with all of your heart, because they're telling you a story of how the Frog Nation, of how this human became one of their people at one time. How many of you ever called a person a name? Raise your hand. How many of you had somebody call you a name? How many of you been hurt because some of the names called to you? How many of you have fought because of a name called to you? What's the saying? Sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. I got a lot of difference with that, ladies and gentlemen. Names hurt so much. Words hurt so much. They cause actual wars. They not only cause wars, but they cause separations in families and loved ones, and they cause death. Be careful of how you speak. This is your world, ladies and gentlemen. You young ones, this is your world. I'm 52 now. I'm about ready to move on, see my folks. This is your world. How do you want your children to be treated? If you want them to be treated with kindness and loving words, it's up to you to speak those words first. And you have to start now while you're young, because what goes around comes around. This is your world. Treat it with care. Treat it with love. The world's not going to go anywhere, but the people may if we continue to be the way we are. That's the story of the girl and the frogs. Okay?
Well, you know what? I'm just going to introduce Danielle Daniels, who was with us last year.
Thank you. Now, you know what? When a storyteller goes, I have to take this off because I have a loud voice. I have to just hold it. When a storyteller goes to place, we sit in the audience and we depend on what the other tells. That's how we tell. And so when the first lady came up, I said, okay, I'm gonna scratch that one off the list. And I kept scratching off the list and scratching off the list and scratching off the list. And so I'm gonna break protocol. And Fran is probably gonna kill me afterwards, so I need somebody to walk me to the car when we get ready to leave. But what I'm gonna do, my heart is just telling me, I'm just gonna do something a little bit different. Colin said his message was so strong. When I first moved here, I'm from Louisiana, but I moved here from Atlanta, and I was working out in Bemidji for 13 lonely, cold weeks. Many days, I was staying in a hotel, I only saw one black person the whole 13 weeks. Many days I couldn't get in my car. And I kept saying to myself, as soon as I leave this place, I'm never gonna come back. But I had signed up for the storytelling workshop. And Minnesota, the thing to do is to take classes. And so I said, okay, I'm just gonna go to the class and I'm gonna leave. But something magical happened, we started telling stories. I don't know why I didn't think that. And I was the only black person there, but we started telling stories and I forgot I was black. So what happens when you forget what you look like on the outside? What are all the amazing things that can happen if everybody just forgot about what they look like on the outside? And so someone told a story about the last big bad earthquake in California, and a minister went out to look for survivors, and he heard a cry coming from the rocks. And he went to this pile, and he says, hold on, I'll be right back. And the person said, I don't have that kind of time. Would you stay with me until the end? And that night I left crying because he didn't say, what color are you? He didn't ask any of those questions. And for the first time in my life, I realized we all live and we all die. And all that's left is our story. Our story. What are the good things we're going to do? This is a story that I created in that workshop. And so when Colin was talking, I said, okay, now I know what I'm going to tell. Boys and girls and mothers and grandmothers and granddads, our stories are so important. Your story. Tell those stories and pass them on. This is one of those moments that was my most embarrassing moment. That my children, everybody knows me, have heard 1,000 times. But we laugh each time we hear it because it brings back those memories. You see, I must have been I think I was in the 12th grade. It was 100 years ago. Yeah, I was in the 12th grade. And there was this guy named Oscar. All the girls thought he was fine, and I did too. He was the color of coffee with no cream. And he always smelled so good, just like Old Spice cologne. And every day after school, he would come into my father's cafe. He put a quarter in the jukebox and he struck on over to the pinball machine. Now, I used to watch him all the time. My mama saw me watching him, and so my mama said, girl, if you want that boy, you better slow your roll and pretend you're not interested in it. And so I took my mama's advice, and looked like he was never gonna say anything to me, and finally he asked me to go to the movies. Well, I was so happy that he was gonna ask me to go to the movies, but then I remembered. See, where I'm from in Louisiana, it was customary for the young man to ask the father's permission to take his daughter out. Now, even though Oscar had asked me, it took him 2 weeks to ask my dad, because my dad was a tall man, 6'2", and Daddy didn't play. And Daddy had a deep voice, so he had a reputation of few words. So when Oscar finally got the courage, my daddy walked up to him and like, boy, now you better have my daughter home before 11 o'clock. Is that understood? Oscar, who's 6'1", football player, he said, yes, sir. I was so happy my dad was going to let me go to the movies with Oscar. I tried on everything in my closet, all 5 dresses. I decided I'd wear my pink dress because it made me look like I was shaped like a Coca-Cola bottle. And that was considered to be fine. Now, I wore my dollar cologne that I bought from Woolworth, so when he came to pick me up in his mama's big old raggedy blue Oldsmobile, I was looking good and smelling good. All the girls in the 12th grade were jealous of me because I was going to the movies with Oscar because he was the most popular boy at the school. Now, I don't know what the movie was about. You see, I don't remember what the movie was about because I was worried about a kiss. See, I grew up in rural Louisiana. Segregation had ended, but the hearts and the attitudes of people had not ended. And so we still lived in a black and white world. Lucky for me, there was a colored folks theater. Well, that's what we were called back then, among some other names. But colored was the one I can say tonight. And so we had one for the colored folks. So that's where we went. And I said the word about the kiss because I had never been kissed. I had read about the kiss. I had heard about the kiss. I had asked my best girlfriend, Ophelia, how to kiss. She said, girl, I don't know what to tell you, and I sure can't show you. So I remember what my daddy said. Daddy said, there's ever something you want to know, go to the library, because that's where all the knowledge in the world is in that library. So that's what I did. I went to the place where all the knowledge is, trying to find out how to kiss. Well, finally, the librarian came up. She says, young lady, can I help you? I said, Miss Jackson, I'm looking for a book on kissing. She said, well, you're not going to find it in here. When it was time to go home, I was nervous and so worried. Oscar, turn the radio up. WXOK, the colored folk station, and Sam Cooke was playing on the radio.
Darling, you.
Oh, I can smell that Old Spice cologne in the air. And he reached over and held my hand. It was so romantic. I was in heaven. Now, when he pulled into my driveway, it was darker than 1,000 midnights because I live in the country. And you know, in the country, if it's no full moon, it's dark because there are no street lights. And you get two black people in the dark. It's dark. So when he turned those headlights off, I got ready for my kiss. But see, I had read about it. I had heard about it. I just never been kissed. So I closed my eyes and puckered my lips, and I heard a loud crashing sound. Oscar jumped out of the car. I'm thinking, boy, where you going? Aren't you supposed to kiss me? I read about this. But he went to open the door and walked me to my steps. Now, in Louisiana, the houses used to set off halves of ground because of flooding. And as you know from Katrina, we have some flooding problems down there. And so my house set off halves the ground. So when we got in front of this porch, I'm thinking to myself, boy, if you're gonna kiss me, you better kiss me now before Daddy turn on the porch light, because that's gonna be ugly. But he kept on walking up on the porch. So I said, oh, okay. Let me get ready. He's gonna kiss me in front of the door. So when we got in front of the door, I closed my eyes and puckered my lips. And then I heard another loud crashing sound. My daddy heard it too. Daddy ran outside, and there Oscar was. He had fallen through my porch. Half of his body below the porch, the other half above the porch, and he kept saying, my leg is broken, my leg is broken. Now, he's a football player. If his leg is broken, everybody's gonna know it, and they're gonna tease me at school. And so, Daddy helped pull him out of that hole. His leg wasn't broken, but he was limping when he left there. So when Monday came, I begged my daddy. I said, Daddy, please don't make me go to school because everybody's gonna tease me. But Daddy looked at me like he looked at Oscar. And he put his finger in my face like he had done Oscar. And he said, now I'm gonna count to 10 and you better get on that school bus to go get you some education. So I got on the school bus, but Daddy didn't tell me I had to get off the school bus. So everybody had gotten off the school bus at school but me. I sat on the bus and I refused to move. So the bus driver kept telling me to get up and get off the bus, but I wouldn't move. The bus driver had to get out of his seat, walk to the back, and make me get off that bus. And I said, Mr. Carter, please don't do it. Because everybody's going to tease me because Oscar fell through my porch and they're going to make fun of me. They're going to go, nah, 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 nah. And he said the same thing my dad had told me, that I had to go to school to get an education because education wasn't accessible for a lot of black people during that time period. He says, you got to go to college, young lady. Have you ever had one of those days where you feel everybody's looking at you and whispering about you behind your back? Have you ever felt that way? That's the way I felt, like everybody was looking at me and whispering about me. Well, when the 3 o'clock bell rang and it was time for me to go home, I was the first one on the school bus to go home. Oscar didn't go around telling everybody about my raggedy house because we lived in a shotgun house. So I only had 2 ugly brothers to teach me, and that's one of them right there. So I thought Oscar was the best guy in the whole wide world because he didn't go around telling everybody about my regular house and making fun of me. So when I graduated from Cheneyville High School, I went to Southern University. Did what my daddy told me, got an education, and I married Oscar Lee Daniel.
Best.
And that's a true story.
My love has come along. My lonely over. And at last, the skies above are blue, blue. Well, my heart was wrapped up in clover the day I laid eyes on you. I found a dream.
That's my ugly brother, Alphonse, everybody. So I say to you, Alphonse and I travel. We go to Europe every year, and we stay in German people houses. We go to Italy, and we stay with a variety of people. And I've learned a lesson that you can't live life if you're being a color. And so I say to you, my friends, no matter who you are, where you come from, you can learn a lot about life and live your life to the fullest if you don't look at the outside, but look what's on the inside. What's on the inside of man is more important than what's on the outside. And that's my story.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and children of all ages, this has been wonderful. We've learned some wonderful lessons tonight, and I hope that we do the same thing next year and that you're all invited back. So let's give our storytellers another round.